I invite you to imagine. Imagine that this room is actually a space that we all share, like we're housemates, roommates, tenants. It wouldn't be, I guess it wouldn't be difficult to imagine if we say, for example, CK would be the landlord, telling you how much the dues are and when is it due, and telling you about the house rules. Probably if we're in a housemate setting, Daniel would be there when you're preparing food and he'd say, did you have avocado? Did you have oil in it? Sophia probably would be the one sneaking out late at night, around midnight with a wine, and then sneaking out in again with an empty glass. And probably Hisako would be a roommate who's a super minimalist, with all the, everything in the nice place. I was gonna go as well. And Tuya would be her roommate. And of course, David would be the one who would be sleepwalking, I guess, with the mop as a sleeper, cleaning the house.
No, he's in his room playing computer games.
Can you imagine us all living together? And of course, the guests would be first-time viewers if the flat is nice. For me, ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't too difficult to imagine. Because you see, if I'm honest, I've seen more than a dozen of different roommates in my entire lifetime. Let me show you how. This is the list of all the houses that I've been in for the past 12 years, from 2006 all the way to 2018. And last weekend, I just moved again to another place, which is in Simsab. So I've been Simsab. So I have a total of about 40 different roommates in the span of 16 years. I've made my research, and apparently an average person would be moving in an average of 11.7 times. I already did it 16 times, so I'm above average. Thank you very much.
Can I employ you to help me move house?
Yes, I'm going to say that as well. So at the moment, as you can see, I've been living with about 40 people, that didn't sound right, about 40 different people in the past decade. So I am the one who you could probably call the serial roommate. Not the killing type, but the co-living type. And in this span of a decade or so, I managed to learn a few things which I would like to say. There they are. We really think the same now. See, we didn't talk, but yeah. Same thing. Great. So, yes, exactly. So for you guys, the list that I've showed you is an interesting list of different addresses. Different years, as you've seen, which is a manifestation probably of my lack of commitment or maybe lack of sense of settlement. But for me, actually, it's an odyssey of existential and relational exploration. Yes. In the span of a decade, I learned, if I have any takeaways from all this moving, first R would be respect. Having lived with 40 different people, it's kind of automatic that you should learn the first value of respect. Respect of property. If that's my fork, that's my fork. You're gonna wash it and bring it back. Respect of privacy, for example. I lived in Ang Mo Kio with two other roommates, and I didn't know that they were in a relationship, and both of them were ladies. So I learned the value of privacy, and I sleep very early in order to avoid any unnecessary views. And I also wake up very late. So, respect of privacy. Finally, respect of self. In the moving, in the changes in houses, in the different circumstances that I'm with and I'm in, I realized that it's important for me to respect myself. If there's anything that I should put on top of my priority in moving, in shifting houses, it would be where I'll be comfortable with, where I'll be happy, and where I'll be with nice people. Don't get me wrong, I didn't move because I got in trouble or I got into fights with different people. It's just very circumstantial. I moved places, I had to move closer and closer. As you saw, I lived in Woodlands, I lived in Kranji, and now I'm in Geylang. Yeah, if you want some, I don't have extra room.
Want some durians you want
Yes,
to say?
that's what I'm gonna say. The
Nice to
next
get you.
value, resilient. The next value I learned is being resilient. The word resilient means the ability to spring back into your natural form. If you imagine in the span of 12 years that I've been moving, not everybody knows that I moved. For some, it's a big deal. Oh my God, I'm moving over the weekend. Oh my God, I'm taking a leave because I'm putting my stuff in. For me, throughout the years, I learned that it's manageable. There are stuff that you could do and be stress-free about it. In the outside, I feel like there's nothing happening. Everything's perfect at home. When in fact, I'm living off suitcases. And I just have my box unopened still in my house. But still, you're resilient. You carry on and you become professional in your job. Another thing that I experienced was once when I came back from Australia, I didn't have a space to stay. And one of a friend of mine let me in a huge shop house. It's 3 floors, about 4 rooms, and I'm the only one who stayed there. I am very resilient in my walk. I would walk like this to make sure I see everything, that everything is in my view, because you never know what's there. It be either living or non-living. But I managed to sleep at night very well as well. But at that point in time, I knew that is not for me. Even so, I become very resilient. Finally, the final R would be relationships. See? Relationships. If there's anything that I could really take away from the moving of houses, from the jumping on and off to the different houses, is building relationships. I realize how curiosity is one of the most important ingredients in getting to know people. The minute I step in a house, I become genuinely curious about people, and they become curious with me as well. Imagine every year you introduce yourself to different people. I work in Raffles now, I do this, I do that now. But at the same time, you get the opportunity to get to know all these 40 new people. And finally, I am very, very honored to be still friends with most of them. I traveled across the world with them. I visited them and become part of their biggest celebrations. That I value, and that's because I'm a serial roommate. So I am sharing this to all of you, not to say how bad it is to be a house hopper or a serial roommate, but to open to you a completely new perspective that we can live as if we are co-living. We can take the approach that we are always meeting new people, we are always living with new people, and by then we will learn to respect while being resilient and staying in a long-lasting relationship with the people that we meet. Thank you very much.